Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry to interrupt the conversations, and I know that you'll have lots of time after the meeting to be able to have conversations, and I really look forward to joining you at your tables for that. Welcome to the 2026 Annual General Meeting of Yorkshire Building Society. Before we start the formal part of the meeting, I'd like to introduce our new Group Secretary, Dion Mortley-Ford. She joined the Society in November last year. She's going to cover a few points of housekeeping before we begin the main part of the meeting. Dion.
Thank you, Anne-Marie, and good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, the hotel is not testing the fire alarms today. If an alarm does sound, please use the nearest fire exit and assemble in the designated area on Eyre Street outside Wetherspoons. Clear signage is displayed throughout the building, and colleagues are on hand to assist if needed. Secondly, may I ask those in the room to switch mobile phones off or set to silent. To enable as many members as possible to participate, today's AGM is being live streamed. Members are joining online, can vote and submit questions throughout the meeting. Please note there may be a short delay of around 20 seconds, so there may be brief pauses while we check for any comments. We are also recording the meeting for members, so please be aware that filming is taking place. We will ensure that members in the room are not visibly identifiable. Members will be able to watch the recording on our website from Thursday until the end of May. We are also joined today by representatives, our auditor, PricewaterhouseCoopers, our legal advisors, Edelshall Goddard, the independent scrutineers, Civica Election Services. And finally, some members are accompanied by their relatives and helpers. While they are unable to vote or ask questions, we are very pleased to welcome them. Thank you. I will now hand you back to our board chair, Anne-Marie Durbing.
Thank you, Dion. It's a real privilege for me to be here with you again today at my third AGM with the Society and my second as your board chair. Can I start by introducing you to the YBS board? Details of each of the directors are in the AGM booklet that you will have received before this meeting, but I will introduce them by name and they will make themselves known to you. Starting from the far left over there, we have Mark Parsons, who's our Senior Independent Director, and he's also our Member and Consumer Duty Champion. Next to him is Elaine Bucknor, who's our newest Non-Executive Director, and in addition to being a non-executive director, has responsibility for workforce engagement. Next to her is Peter Bowl, who's the chair of our board audit committee. And then we have Tom Ranger, who's our chief financial officer. Next to Tom, you will know her well already, is Susan Allen, our chief executive officer. Dion, I've already introduced you to. And then next to her is Deborah Davies. Deborah is our chair of the Board Remuneration Committee. She will be stepping down from the board after today's AGM. And Janet Pope, who's sitting next to Deborah, will succeed Deborah as chair of the Board Remuneration Committee. This is in addition to Janet's role as chair of the Board Environmental and Social Purpose Committee. And last but definitely not least, she says that she doesn't like being on the end of the row, but last but not least is Angela Darlington, who's our vice chair, chair of our board risk committee and our whistleblowing champion. In the room, we're also joined by our board fellow, Sahim Gulati, who's making himself known to you now. Sahim has served as our inaugural board fellow for the last 14 months, and he'll be transitioning off the board over the summer. As our first ever board fellow for the Society, he's been a great role model for the benefits that can be gained from having such people on our board, learning how boards work and coming ready to be board directors on other organisations' boards. Also, all of Susan's executive team are here with us today and making themselves known to you now by standing up. And you can see their photos to match their persons on the screen in front of you. They're here to engage with you, so please do take the opportunity to connect with them. There are also other members of the senior team here as well. After the conclusion of the formal business of the AGM, the board's going to join you at your tables, and we'll have an opportunity to talk about the things that really matter to you as members of our society. And we'll be serving afternoon tea again, so that's something to look forward to. Those of you who were here last year know that the board has been sharing food with the Society's members at AGMs for 150 years. So that's a tradition that I'd really like to continue to take forward. In addition to chatting with our colleagues, please feel free to move from table to table. One of the feedback things that we got from members last year is that you felt that you were stuck at a table. And although it's brilliant to talk to our colleagues, you do want to have the opportunity to catch up with each other as well. So please do feel free to do that. I have confirmation that we have a quorum present. So now we can proceed with the AGM formally. First, let me set out the agenda for this meeting. In a few moments, I'll talk about the evolution of the board, how we're building upon the Society's strong heritage, and the contributions that the Society makes to the broader community. Then, Susan will give an update on the Society's performance in 2025. And following that, we'll hold a members' questions session, and I look forward to having all of your questions and answering them. Finally, we'll address the formal business of the meeting and vote on the resolutions. So let me start with the evolution of the board. The Society has had a board of directors since its inception in 1864. 100 years ago, the board was comprised of 9 members, all of whom were white and male, which is unsurprising for those times. They were wool merchants, an engineer, an ironmonger, a building contractor, and even a mineral water manufacturer. They were all hard-working business people who wanted to find a way to help people to save to be able to own their own homes. They all served on the board for many years, most of them dying in office or stepping down due to illness. Today's board is more diverse and more regularly refreshed, as you can see from their profiles and their personages. The regulatory requirements to become a director have become much more stringent over the years, given the nature of the duties that a regulated financial services director has to fulfill in maintaining the Society's financial strength and resilience. And also the rules have changed about the permitted length of tenure to ensure that directors remain independent in terms of their mindset. As your board chair, one of my primary roles is to continually assess the skills, talents, and experiences that we need on the board to meet the current and the future fast-changing needs of our society. And it's in this context I'd like to update you on some recent and upcoming changes to our board's composition. Guy Bainbridge, who, as you can see, is not here, our former vice chair, he retired at the end of last year, and Angela Darlington has succeeded Guy as vice chair and whistleblowing champion. Peter Boll, who joined the board in September 2024, succeeded Guy as chair of the board audit committee in September last year. Dina Matter, who was here last year, also stepped down, and Elaine Bucknor joined the board last September, bringing significant experience in technology, cyber, risk, transformation, and AI to the board. She's joined the board risk committee and has taken responsibility for workforce engagement, succeeding Angela in that role. As mentioned earlier, Deborah Davies will step down today, and Janet will succeed her as REMCO chair, having already been a member of that committee for more than a year. I would like to thank all of our former directors, and Deborah, who's here with us today, for their valued contributions to the Society over their respective tenures. They've added real value to the Society, bringing different skills, experiences, and perspectives to our board's deliberations. With these changes, we will temporarily fall below the Society's minimum number of directors, which is 9. However, I'm pleased to advise that we are well advanced towards finalising the appointment of 2 new non-executive directors, and you can expect to see some announcements on that in the near future. As will be the norm, they will stand for election for the first time at next year's AGM. Finally, some of you may have read that Tom Ranger tendered his resignation as the Society's Chief Financial Officer earlier this year. He will continue to fulfill his role as our CFO over the coming months while we conclude the search for his successor. However, as you will not have the opportunity to thank him next year at the AGM, we'll take this opportunity to thank Tom for his contribution to the Society and to wish him well for his future career. Today's board provides real diversity of perspective in its broadest sense, with directors bringing experience from a range of different sectors, including technology, transformation, business leadership, insurance, as well as having a core of directors with banking experience. Our approach of regularly refreshing the board's membership with structured, intentional succession means that we bring the right balance of experience and fresh perspectives to best serve you, our members' interests now and for the future. And it's particularly important in this time as the financial services sector continues to change so rapidly. The second topic I wanted to talk about a little bit was building upon the Society's strong heritage. As you all have seen from our annual report and accounts, in 2025, we sharpened our purpose statement. We clarified that real help with real life means members coming together to make good homes possible for more people. And Susan's going to elaborate upon this further when she speaks about the Society's progress in 2025. As the board engaged in debates regarding our honed purpose, I found myself thinking about the people who came before us, those who established and built our society back in the 19th and 20th century. As I've mentioned, they were ordinary people with ordinary jobs brought together by a common desire to build something extraordinary together. They lived in a world that's very, very different to the one we know today, yet their purpose was in essence exactly the same as ours, to provide stewardship for an organization that helped people save, helped people to feel secure, and helped people to find a good home. Those threads, human connection, community-mindedness, and practical solutions to real-life issues, they run through all of our 160-year history. I was also thinking about how the Society has grown over its 160-plus year history. Back in 1900, at the turn of the century, the Society reported mortgage balances of about £333,000. By 2025, our mortgage balances had reached nearly £52 billion. That's a lot of people who've been helped to have a place to call their own, and that's thanks to members like you who put your hard-earned savings with us. In 1900, we had 2,683 members, and today we have 2.7 million members that trust us with 54 billion of their hard-earned savings. The extent and pace of growth tells its own story. It shows how much building societies were needed back then and just how much they are needed and wanted today as well. Because we have continued to invest in the Society's future, the Society has been able to remain relevant and to meet the evolving needs of our members. We have many passbook savers and people who regularly engage with us through our branch network, and I know that a lot of you are here today. However, increasingly, we also have members who open accounts with us, move their money seamlessly and effortlessly using our mobile app and other digital services. We aim to serve your needs in the way that works best for you. Let's take a look at what our refined purpose has helped us to deliver in 2025.
As a building society, we act differently. We're owned by you, not shareholders. It starts with our savers. We want to be their number one choice. In 2025, we opened nearly 480,000 new savings accounts. Our rates were nearly 20% higher than the market average, putting £330 million back in members' pockets. Our research shows that saving even a little improves well-being and life satisfaction. Our £50 regular saver supported nearly 11,000 customers to start or keep saving. We helped make more good homes possible. with more than 38,000 new residential mortgages. Almost 30% for first-time buyers. We extended our £5,000 deposit mortgage to include flats and supported customers with higher loan-to-income and cashback options. We found new ways to give more value back, launching zero commission insurance. It has already saved customers more than £2 million. We supported our communities too. We've raised over £900,000 for Fair Share, helping more than 2,000 people gain skills to find work. Citizens Advice Advisors are in 44 of our branches and helped 5,600 people in 2025. We welcomed nearly 800 students into our Bradford office, giving them real experience and AQA certified workshops. We brought our net zero target forward to 2030, reducing emissions across our organisations sooner. In addition to rewarding members, every penny of profit is reinvested to strengthen the society, deliver better service and to support our communities. In 2025, we invested a record amount to make sure we're ready for the future and make managing your money feel easy. Online, on the app, on the phone, in branch. Thank you.
I've seen that video many times and it still warms the cockles of my heart, so I hope you enjoyed it. As you've heard, 2025 was a successful year for our society. We delivered solid results, grew our savings and mortgage balances, and helped even more first-time buyers to own a home. It's really important to reward our savers, and in the last 5 years, our above-market average savings rates means that you have gained nearly £1.5 billion in total in extra interest. Our aim is to provide consistently good value so that you, as our loyal members, can feel confident that you are being treated well across the lifetime of your membership with us. As a member of Yorkshire Building Society, you're part of something bigger. The money that you save with us allows us to lend, making good homes possible for more people. We can't do that without you holding those savings with us. In addition to rewarding members through rates, we also, as you heard, reinvest our profits to improve our products and services for you. We know that you value the ease and convenience of our service and the helpfulness of our colleagues in the branches and the contact centres. Increasingly, you want more options for how you engage with us, whether in branch, over the phone, or using digital channels such as our mobile app. In 2025, we invested more than ever before, nearly £90 million. And we invested in a number of key strategic areas. This included boosting resilience, tightening cyber controls, as well as introducing new features such as real-time processing for inbound faster payments. This means that you can see your deposits immediately as they land into your account, and that was something that was raised with us last year at the AGM. We also delivered new app features, making it easier for you to manage your savings. We're a modern, dynamic, successful mutual. Our members are at the heart of every single decision we make. And in 2025, we reached out to engage with hundreds of thousands of members, asking you to take part in our Your Time to Talk events or our My Voice community engagement. Topics covered included barriers to home ownership, savings behaviours, and self-service in branches. We're always really keen to hear more from you, our members. So if you'd like to join our Your Voice community or any other way of providing feedback to us, please do that. And one of those opportunities you have is by speaking with the colleagues that are in the room with you. And you'll find out there's a leaflet on your table, which is how do you join the My Voice community. Speaking about community contributions, this is another important aspect of being a member of our society. You know that we are committed to supporting people in need in communities across the UK. We do this through a number of programs and partnerships that help people to find work and to improve financial well-being. As mentioned, our partnership with Fair Share has raised over £900,000 so far, and the votes that have been cast for this AGM will raise an additional £25,000 to go towards Fair Share's employability programme. The aim is that this will lift over 2,500 people out of financial hardship. Citizens Advice works from 40% of our branches across the country, and last year alone, that helped 5,600 people to unlock an estimated 3.8 million in potential additional income. And in addition, through Yorkshire Building Society's charitable foundation, we continue to support communities across the UK. In Bradford, which is obviously where our head office is, 1 million has been invested in the 3-year Building Bradford Skills Fund, and that's helping 4 charities to tackle skills and employment challenges. Meanwhile, many of you as our members have opted into the Small Change Big Difference scheme, and that's generated £358,000 last year alone for hundreds of charities nominated by members and colleagues. And this demonstrates how small contributions can deliver meaningful impact. In 2025, we continue to increase our focus on investing in the health of local and regional environments to create stronger, more resilient communities. This is because good homes isn't just about buildings. It's about the spaces and the natural environment in which we all live. 2 initiatives I just want to talk to you about is one of which is the Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, where we're taking part in the biodiversity survey of woodland behind our Bradford headquarters. And also, we're supporting the Yorkshire Peat Partnership, which is the umbrella organisation restoring the region's damaged peatlands. You'll be pleased to hear that we're also focusing on our own direct environmental impact as a business. We have commissioned solar carports at our Bradford headquarters last year, and combined with energy generated by other solar panels previously installed, this generates enough clean electricity to power 150 homes for an entire year. It's a major milestone for the Society because it actually delivers nearly 1/3 of the energy that we need for 2 of our main sites. And it makes a powerful step forward to our ambition to reach net zero across our own operations by 2030. In summary, as a member of Yorkshire Building Society, you can be confident that your money is working hard for you, and you can be confident that it's making a difference to others. When you look at our history, you can see that our society has always supported its members and communities. It has always grown, adapted, and improved. From a single rented room in 1864 to one of the UK's biggest building societies, we've always looked forward and invested to grow. Though our predecessors didn't have modern tech-enabled offices, banking apps, security, cyber teams, or AI agents, they were united by the same purpose and dedication that unites the board, the executive team, and all our colleagues. Our job is to ensure that the society stays strong and ready for the future. And in these uncertain economic times, it's even more important that Yorkshire Building Society continues to thrive by serving members now and for generations to come. Thank you for putting your trust in us. We don't take that lightly. I'll now hand over to Susan, who will share a bit more about what we delivered in 2025.
Well, thank you, Anne-Marie, and welcome everyone to our AGM, and it's especially lovely to see some familiar faces. I am delighted to see you all here today and want to thank you for being such an important part of our society. Now, reflecting on what Anne-Marie's just spoken about, it's a timely reminder that even though today's world is very different to that of our founders, our society's purpose is the thread that connects us with them. And it's also the thread that connects us with all of you, our members. Because as Anne-Marie said, when you become a member of our society, you are not just opening an account with us. Yes, you know we're a safe place for your money, and I spoke with some members earlier on about this. We're a safe place for your money, and you also know you'll receive strong returns and great service. But you also know that your money is being used for good. And that's why I want to start by talking about the importance of purpose before moving on to our financial achievements in 2025. Now, our purpose is 5 simple words: real help with real life. And in 2025, we took time to take a step back, to consider our purpose, and to set a clear path for the future. And in doing this, we listened to a cross-section of customers and potential customers to understand the challenges they face and how we could best make a difference in 2025 and beyond. This led us to sharpen how we describe our purpose, and I hope it resonates with you. Real help with real life means members coming together to make good homes possible for more people. Now, to bring this to life, here are some of our fantastic colleagues explaining more about our purpose and why it's so important.
A good home is more than just bricks and mortar.
It's where health begins.
Where happiness grows.
Where the future takes shape. But right now, for too many people, a good home feels out of reach.
Everyday life is getting more expensive.
And the housing crisis is only getting worse.
These aren't just challenges.
It's a call for us to act.
We are one of the UK's biggest mutuals.
That means no shareholders to answer to, just our members.
Everything we do is about creating value for them.
We've been here for our members since 1864.
And now, just like then, we are working together to build something better.
Our purpose is to provide real help with real life.
This means members coming together to make good homes possible for more people. We help people save and take practical steps towards secure and sustainable homes.
Whether they're owned or rented.
This isn't just something we say, it's something we do.
And it's on all of us, through everyday actions, big and small.
To bring our purpose to life.
It starts with our savers, who give us the strength and scale to create change.
By becoming Savers' #1 choice, we can make 5 big things happen.
1. Make home ownership more accessible.
2. Help people make the most of their homes.
3. Support responsible landlords.
4. Invest in creating more good homes.
And 5. Call for change in the housing system. Some of this is work we've been doing for a while.
Some of it's new, and we'll keep building as we go.
But together, it's what'll make a lasting difference.
Every decision.
Every conversation.
It all matters.
At Yorkshire Building Society, we're big enough to make a real difference. But still small enough to be bold, fast, and be true to ourselves.
Real help with real life.
For today, tomorrow, and always.
Well, I think that's incredibly powerful. And by the way, some of the colleagues who are on that video are here in the room, so you get to try and spot them later. I think what's really important is that real help with real life is not there just to be some sort of catchy slogan or something that we just say we're going to do. This is the reason we exist. This is the reason we are different. And this is why being a member of a building society still matters in 2026. It shows the power of coming together. It shows the power of mutuality. And with 2.7 million members, we're one of the UK's largest building societies, and we are very proud of the impact we make with your support. We're the 7th biggest mortgage lender in the UK. Last year, our gross lending before repayments was almost £10 billion. We provided 38,400 new mortgages, and 11,000 of those went to first-time buyers, giving thousands of people the keys to a home they own for the very first time. Now, as I always say to my team, these are big numbers, but we have to remember that behind every number is a person or a family. We know that good homes aren't just bricks and mortar. They're where families grow, they're where futures are built. And so we're now going to hear from two of our customers, Callum and Chelsea. Their lives have been changed by Yorkshire Building Society's 5k deposit mortgage. Now, before we launched this mortgage, they had spent a decade renting and trying to save a deposit. Now they have the ideal home for them, their two young daughters, Hannah and Alice, and their dog, Bonnie.
I think we've been saving for our own home since we're about 22, so maybe 10 years to save for a mortgage in total.
Renting long term for us, it was a bit of a trap really. So when we first moved in, when we was 18, everything was fine. We had enough space for the two of us, but as our family got bigger with our children and our pets, that space quickly eroded away.
It made it more difficult to save as well, because obviously half our money was going to rent, so we could save a lot less. I think there were quite a few moments where we thought buying would never happen. What gave us the confidence to move forward was seeing the 5k mortgage with Yorkshire Building Society, because it meant that we could get in quite quickly because we already had the deposit saved, but then we also had a little bit extra.
What surprised us most was how helpful Yorkshire Building Society were. So throughout the process, because we were first-time buyers, we didn't have any experience on what we needed to do when. So the colleagues we were speaking to were only a quick phone call or a quick email away, and they helped us with a lot of the teething issues we encountered where it was down to our lack of experience regarding mortgages. So that was very helpful. I think the first moment I had when we first walked through the doors, once we had the keys, was the amount of space we had.
Yeah, it was twice the size of our old house, and especially with no furniture, and you could really see how much room we were going to have. It was exciting, wasn't it? Because we'd waited a long time to do it.
Things have changed quite a lot since we moved in. The girls have a lot more space. They've got their own bedrooms now. We've got a nice big garden to play outside in summer or to play outside with the dog. So the girls are generally a lot more happier, they're a lot more independent.
We also have family round now as well. It just wasn't feasible for us to have parties or anything like that. It is important that our mortgage is with a building society because it's owned by its members. So that means because somebody else has saved in the past, that meant that we could get our mortgage now. So it's nice for us to invest our money in that so somebody else in the future can be in the same situation we were in and they can get their mortgage.
Well, so as you heard there, your savings are changing lives. And I'd like to talk about our savers now because that is where our purpose begins. You are the foundation of everything we do, and we want to be the #1 choice for our savers. Now, that doesn't always mean trying to be top of the best buy tables, or certainly not luring members in with attractive introductory rates that decrease soon after. But it does mean delivering consistently great service, fair rewards, and products that work for our members. And in 2025, we opened 478,000 new savings accounts. And because our rates were nearly 20% higher than the market average, in fact, they've been above the market average for more than a decade now, our savers earned £313 million in extra interest in 2025 alone. And as you heard from Anne-Marie, we are committed to delivering fair rates of interest year after year. But you know that the value we give our members goes deeper than that. It's being able to speak to us face-to-face in our branches or on the phone with our UK-based teams when you need to. It's being here at the AGM or being able to have a say at how we're run. It's being able to nominate a deserving organisation in your town for a donation from our charitable foundation. It's through member-only benefits, such as the £250 cash back on loyalty mortgages for you or your family or friends when they take out a mortgage through us. And it's through the investment we can make in the communities we serve with your support. Now, whether that be the support to Fair Share or Citizens Advice, which Anne-Marie mentioned, or the thousands of Money Mind sessions delivered in schools by our colleagues. And it's the knowledge that all the profit we make, in addition to rewarding members, is reinvested to build a stronger Yorkshire building society for tomorrow. A society which we hope that you, your children and grandchildren, will reap the benefits from. As a member-owned organisation with no external shareholders, we will always be led by you. Now, you told us that you cared about keeping the cash ISA allowance. So, alongside other building societies and the Building Society Association, we urged government to think carefully about the impact of cutting the limit. In the end, the reduction was not as dramatic as it could have been, and we welcome the decision to keep the £20,000 cash ISA allowance for those aged over 65. This shows that your society's voice was heard in government, loud and clear. We also pushed for a change to mortgage loan-to-income rules because we know that rising house prices are making owning a home much more difficult for many. And we hope that the regulator will continue to give us some flexibility so that we can lend responsibly to help more people get on the property ladder. We have a dedicated and highly skilled underwriting team who use their discretion and judgment to help people that others might not, while making sure at the same time that customers are not stretched too far. These are just two examples of how we worked last year behind the scenes to help our members and customers reach their savings and home ownership goals. And of course, we also supported customers by providing products to meet their needs. Products like the 5k deposit mortgage, which you heard about earlier. We extended this to flats last year, making home ownership more accessible, especially for first-time buyers. Our First Home Saver account is helping people build a deposit, which we know is one of the biggest barriers to buying a home. Our regular savings accounts, with attractive interest rates, especially for loyal members, are helping people start saving or keep building towards life's big milestones. And we're helping you save money on your energy bills through our partnership with Snug, and your insurance through our commission-free home and life insurance offering, which saved our customers nearly £2.4 million in 2025 alone. We're very proud that in 2025, our customer satisfaction scores went up again. We're rated excellent on Trustpilot, based on 10,000 reviews, and we're a Which recommended provider for savings. Customer feedback led to us being named High Street Mortgage Provider of the Year, and not only that, we were crowned High Street Savings Provider of the Year for the 4th year running. It's important that we give you choice in the way you manage your money with us. We have 200 branches and agencies around the country. We have brilliant telephony teams based in the UK, and we're investing regularly to improve our app. Customers can now open any online savings account there and can check their mortgage balance. We are absolutely committed to providing the best service we can to our members. And in 2025, we invested a record amount to make sure that we're ready not just for today, but for generations to come. Now, we know that many of our customers are feeling stretched by a higher cost of living, and they're worried about the financial challenges that may come. I want to assure you that we will continue to support our members with our skilled teams working hard to provide comprehensive support to anyone facing challenges during these difficult times. In 2026, our mutuality, our togetherness, and our sharpened purpose matter more than ever. So thank you for being here with us and for being part of our purpose, making real help with real life a reality across the UK. And I'll now hand back to Anne-Marie for your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. That brings us to the end of our presentations, and so we're going to move to the part of the meeting where we'll take questions from members, both in the room and online. Before we begin, please note that for confidentiality reasons, we're unable to take questions relating to your individual accounts or your personal circumstances. However, there are customer service teams here, and if you're online, you can contact through your normal contact channels. We will begin with a couple of questions from members in the room while the online attendees come through with their questions. And I know that, as in previous years, there may well be more questions submitted online than in the room, and we need, as a society, to be inclusive of all and to answer all the questions all the key themes that are being raised. So I just ask for your patience as we navigate between those who are attending online versus attending in person. In the room, if you wish to ask a question, please just raise your hand and somebody will come to you with a microphone so that all of us can hear what your question is. If you're comfortable doing so, state your name, but there's no compulsion for that. For members who are online, we won't be reading out people's names unless they specifically ask us to do so. My colleague, who's most of you can't see because he's in the wings there, Simon, is going to read out the questions that we're receiving from online and help me to navigate as between in the room and online questions. Right, so are we ready? Who'd like to ask the first question? Oh, it's good, there's a competition, that's great. So I can't even now find my colleagues. Here they are. Here and then to my, well, over there.
Whenever I go into either the bank or the building society to reorganise my savings, they say, what are you saving for? Now, I normally just say care home fees. Is this part of your money laundering checks? Or is it because you want to know what people are saving for?
Increasingly, we have to look after members' money, and it's really important that we are a responsible financial services provider. And there are regulations, which means that we need to know where money is coming into an account and when it goes out of an account, what are the purposes for that. I understand that as a human being, sometimes that can feel a bit intrusive and a bit annoying. It happens to me too. But that it is part of us being a responsible financial services provider. So it really is because of the anti-money laundering, the know your customer, the understanding sources and uses of funds. That's the primary purpose.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So thank you for your patience and for helping us to fulfill our duties. I think there was a question over here somewhere. And then I'll come to online, if that's okay, Simon, assuming there are questions.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Craig Townsend, and I live in Rothwell, and I use the Rothwell branch. What I'd like to ask the board is how come you don't have any members that are here on your board? There's no members on your board. Why is this?
If I may take that question, every single person on that board is a member. I'm a member. All of us are members of the board. But I think that you mean more broadly a representative of members on the board.
Exactly.
Yeah. The reality is that the responsibilities of being a board director are incredibly onerous. We have to pass regulatory requirements. The time commitment is onerous. The level of financial services knowledge that you now need to be on the board is onerous. And one of the issues with a member nominated person on the board is that they need to have the same duties and financial fiduciary responsibilities as all the other board directors here. That's not to say that, never say never, but that is the stance we take at the moment. We have other ways. So the important thing is that our member voice is incredibly important to us, and it's through these various ways that we hear the member voice. Mark on the end there is our member voice champion. He used to be CEO of another building society. We won't talk about where. But he used to be CEO of another building society, and he is one of our catalysts for ensuring that the member voice and the customer voice is in the boardroom, every meeting, every conversation. And certainly since Susan's tenure as CEO, that has increased markedly. So you can be sure that the voice of members is very present in our conversations. Simon.
We have a question from a member on the subject of cybersecurity.
Oh, God.
What is the Society doing to protect me and other members from scams and frauds?
Well, that's a really, really important question, because I think that one of the things that you want to know as a member of our society is that when you place your money with us, that it's safe, that it is actually safe with us. And we invest a lot in order to be able to fulfill that duty. And we do a lot of testing as well. So a lot of it is about readiness, always being ready to look at where the risks might come, where the emerging threats are, how are we making sure that our systems, technology, processes are robust, and where the weaknesses might be, and to get ahead of that. It's I'm not sure if people would align with this, but it's a bit like whack-a-mole sometimes, because the cyber actors outside, the criminals out there, are very, very fleet of foot and are ever evolving. And so the attention that we have to place, I'm looking in front of me, I've got our Chief Operating Officer, Fraser, who our online member may want to engage with later for more technical detail. But this is one of the things that's hugely important to us, and one of our programs of work that just today we were talking about, and actually yesterday at our board risk committee. In the room? Yes, gentlemen. Thank you.
Hello there. It's John Horner. I've recently had my Co-op current account taken over by the Coventry Building Society, and similarly Virgin current account taken over by Nationwide. Is there anything that the Yorkshire Building Society can learn from that regarding its own offering of a current account, or tying up with best in class, etc.?
Yeah, so thank you very much for your question today. This is one of the strategic debates and conversations that we have around the board table and with the management team. It's about where is it that we can add the most value to members. And for the moment, the plan is, and as Susan explained to us, we're one of the biggest pure play building societies, which is savings and mortgages. And we consciously choose not to play, as of today, as being a current account provider. There are all sorts of risks and consequences, and back to the question that the previous previous member raised, to successfully run a current account of any scale and size, the cyber risks and the systems and the processes that we would need to invest in to be able to do that responsibly on behalf of you as our members is something that at this stage is not in our plans. The broader question, which I'm not sure if this is what you're asking or not, but the broader question about organisations combining, we have a plan in terms of our growth and development, and it's the history over the last 160 years of growth and development as a building society, and we are continuing to progress those plans while being alive to what opportunities there might be out in the marketplace. Do we have another?
We do. We have a question about AI.
Oh,
How
goodness.
is the society using AI, and do you think its increasing use is a good thing for the society and for us as members?
Like many new things in life, AI is both an opportunity and a risk. And as a responsible building society, it comes back to keeping your money safe and managing the society responsibly on your behalf. We're very focused on making sure that what we do with AI is actually done in a responsible, risk-controlled way. Having said that, there's huge opportunities. The reality is that our colleagues, the colleagues of the Building Society, work so hard, and there are lots of manual processes and non-value-adding things that they have to do at the moment, which can be helped through the use of AI. Not to take away from the need for a person. We're a human human society that wants you to be able to have human contact with real people, etc. But that AI can absolutely make life easier, simpler, quicker, more efficient for our colleagues. And that's where the focus of our AI investment has been in these early times. We do actually have named AI agents. I can't remember the name of them all now. But we have 3 AI agents that we're piloting, and it's something that all organizations are doing. And we need to embrace the opportunity that it brings, but be very mindful of the risk and to, as you would expect of us, to progress in a well-controlled, responsible manner. Anybody else in the room? Yes. There's a gentleman in the middle. Yeah. Thanks, Lindsay.
As you probably know, there are a lot of building societies based in the north of England, and I like to invest my savings and money in the north of England rather than somewhere, say, in Devon or Cornwall or Kent or somewhere like that. How much competition do you actually have with the other building societies? Are you constantly comparing your rates with, well, I won't mention the names.
Yes, the others.
But many of them are based in Yorkshire.
Yes.
Some in Cumbria, some in Lancashire.
Yes.
And I wonder, on your committee here, whether you take this in account when you're choosing what rate to charge savers and people who have ISA accounts and that kind of thing.
We absolutely, I mean, the short answer is yes, we absolutely regularly, and in fact daily, take into account what rates are out there in the marketplace, not just from regional players, but also from the big banks as well, because we're all in a financial services marketplace. But if I were to give you the bigger picture, so today we were in our board meeting this morning talking about member value. Member value is about more than just rates. We're looking at, and we were comparing across those regional players in terms of what's the member value as far as we could calculate it from a comparing apples and apples perspective. And it's something that we're very alive to. And we're also very alive to the fact that different members value different things in different ways. And so we look at that as well and compare it across. But competitor dynamics is an incredibly important part of how we position ourselves as a building society to make sure that we are providing fair value for the whole way through your lifetime of your membership with us. So there's another couple of in the room. Can I just get a calibration of how many we have online? 3. Okay, so we can go 1, 2. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Where were we?
Yeah.
Ah, lovely, thank you.
The lights must be too bright for you.
They are, actually. I have to say, it's very blinding.
My name's Webster, Gary Webster. And I'd just like to ask a 2-part question. What criteria does the society use when considering introducing a new savings product for its customers? And does the society think they might just have too many products?
You must have been in our board meeting earlier on today. So we were having exactly this conversation about, for an organization that is supposedly as simple as we are in terms of being mortgages and savings, that actually when you take into account things that are on sale versus off sale products, if there is a proliferation of savings and mortgage products that makes life really complicated for members and customers, for colleagues, and for risk professionals, etc. And so one of the things we're taking really seriously is how do we rationalize our products so that we can really put the effort and time into extremely valuable products and not have a long tail of products that are no longer on sale, but still need to be supported through systems, technology, processes, etc. Susan, you might just want to add in terms of the process for deciding whether or not a new product would come to market.
Well, I'd say on brand new products, I think Anne-Marie's answered very well in terms of the proliferation of products. But on brand new products, where we start with is feedback from members and potential members on what is the need? What is the need that we're trying to solve? So I can give you a couple of examples. One was we did some research with the University of Bristol that was really looking at the link between financial and mental well-being and savings. And it was a longitudinal study over a period of time. And in brief, what that showed was that if you have a level of savings, you will feel more secure and more mentally resilient. That sort of almost wasn't a surprise. But the bit that was really interesting was the insight that actually that uplift in your financial resilience and mental resilience was actually linked to regular savings, almost irrespective of amount. So that was the big insight, that actually we could really make a difference in people's lives if they could just encourage people to start saving even a small amount. And that's why we launched in National Savings Week a regular savings account that was for people saving between £1 and £50. And I think it was last year there was a rate of 7% on that. Now, that was an investment of money because we actually know the difference this will make if people can start to save money regularly. So that's one example. Another example of listening to our members would be when we have our loyalty rates. So anybody here on ordinary regular saver at the moment, 4.25. Our loyalty one is 4.75 or 4.85, Tom, I should know. I've definitely got one of them. So we're looking after our loyal customers. And the third area I just give an example of is mortgages. And we talked about the 5K deposit mortgage. Where did the idea of that come from? Well, it came from customer research again. Customer research that said, actually, the biggest problem for the people who don't have the help of mum and dad is struggling to save for a deposit. People like Callum and Chelsea, who you heard about earlier on. And so we worked with our risk team to understand how could we put something together that would make a difference for people who were paying rent, so had shown a track record of rent, but just couldn't afford to save a big deposit. And that's where the 5K deposit mortgage came from. And we use the story of Callum and Chelsea today, but in the society, people will still talk about the first week that product was launched. There was a couple, they were in a flat, a small flat, with a child, again, didn't think that they'd ever be able to afford a home. And when we called them to let them know they'd been approved for a mortgage, they both burst into tears in the middle of Sainsbury's. So really, for the brand new products, the ideas come from our customers and members and come from research to really understand what would real help with real life look like for a member today, and how can we deliver that through our products and propositions.
Thank you.
Excellent. Shall we go online and then we'll come back into the room?
We have a question on faster payments, which has been asked by a number of members. When this year are real-time faster payments going to be achieved?
Right, so this is a two-step process. Last year, we had it so that faster payments inbound, so that when you deposit money with us, you can see it immediately in your account. You're not worried about whether or not it's disappeared somewhere. That was put into place in last year. The reality is, in order to responsibly do faster payments outbound, there is a whole lot to the gentleman who asked me the question about anti-money laundering controls. We need to make sure that we have all of the systems and processes in place to make sure that when you move your money, or we think you're moving your money, and it disappears, that actually that we've got the right anti-fraud controls, the right cyber controls, all of the right controls in place, so that we're absolutely sure that your money is going to the place that you're expecting it to go to, and that it's not being subject to a scam or a fraud. That means that we're having to do an investment. Part of the 90 million that we talked about that is being invested into our resilience and to our cyber controls, that quite a chunk of that is in this thing. And so that by the end of this year, the plan is by November, but we'll only do it when we are really sure that we've got all the controls in place to keep your money safe. We should be able to do outbound. And we'll start with that being what we call pay to self, so transferring to yourself in another organisation. And then we'll just need to take stock to make sure that we're really keeping your money safe.
Anne-Marie, can I just come in on that
Yeah,
as well?
of course you may.
I think there's probably two things to add. One is we've had so much feedback from customers over the years, particularly about people sending money in. And lots of people were doing things like sending, I mean, I've done it myself in the past, to send £1 to see does £1 land, and then look in your app, if you've got the app, and see has the £1 landed. So lots of feedback about faster payments in. And in fact, I've probably got the number not quite right, but certainly the vast majority could be somewhere in the region of 70%. 60%, Fraser's mouthing to me, 60% of all the payments we make are payments coming in. So what we've done is we've essentially fixed that challenge for the majority of the payments that we handle every day. As Anne-Marie said, we're working hard to put in the technology so that we can make faster payments out. I want to reassure you that the reason it's changing is not that we're adding lots and lots of new controls, because obviously we work hard today to make sure that your money is safe and to make sure that when we're making payments, they're going to the right place. But the reality is that today, many of those checks and controls are done by people, you know, and we've got a whole day to do those checks and controls. Once money starts to move more quickly, we obviously have to be able to do those checks and controls instantaneously, and that's what we're working to do. So it's moving the existing checks and controls that are done over a period of time to be instantaneous, but I wouldn't want any question in your mind, but that we are absolutely looking after your money today.
Thanks, Susan. Very helpful. I think we have there was another question in the room. So, yes.
Hello, my name's Christine Jackman. In Leeds the other day, I was walking past one of your competitors, and they had a poster up about 20,000 ISA. It said this could be the last year that you're able to put £20,000 in. Do we need to read anything into that?
You can, I think, Susan, you're more than capable of dealing with that.
So I think what this is, I touched earlier on that the rules for ISAs mean that from 2027, if you're under 65 years of age, you'll only be able to put £12,000 into a cash ISA. If you're over 65, it's going to remain at 20,000. But if somebody is under 65 today and will be under 65 next April, then they will only next year be able to put in 12. So that's what it's saying. It's really for anybody under 65 to think about whether they use their last year of 20,000.
Yeah, it made you think as though there was something else that was going to be coming up. That,
well, not that I'm aware of or we've got any sight of, and I would say I did mention it briefly, but actually I was really encouraged by the attention that government, particularly Treasury, paid to listening to the views of people like myself in public forums and in private forums where we shared the very strong view from our members about retaining the ISA limit. And I absolutely think they've listened and understand how important that element of cash is, particularly for people who don't have a risk profile that means that you want to invest in stocks and shares.
Yeah, well, I know about that, but, you know, I wonder if there's something else sort of like lurking.
No, good question, but no, not that I'm aware of.
No, I think that the competitors whose branch, it applies to the whole financial services sector. And so they're just, I would hazard a guess that what they're just doing is highlighting that for a certain part of the population, the opportunity to earn tax-free interest on $20,000 per year is coming to an end for some people. We have, I think we have 4 more questions, so we'll take 2 from online, and then to balance it out, if somebody could ask a question in the room, that would be really helpful.
We have a question on diversity. How are you addressing diversity, particular ethnic diversity, on the board?
Diversity and inclusion is something that's incredibly personal to me. Whoops, whack on the microphone. It's very important to our board as a whole. It's very important to the society as a whole. It's very important to the communities that we live in and serve nationally. We look at diversity in its broadest characteristic, which is diversity of perspective. I talked earlier about the skills, talent, experience, background perspectives that are needed to serve you as a modern board of a modern society. I think as you look across the changes that have been made to the board's composition over the past, well, number of years, the idea is to make sure that we've got the right diversity of perspective, as well as taking into account all other types of diversity, whether it be gender, as you can see, whether it be ethnicity, whether it be all other types of protected characteristics. It's something that's incredibly important to us because as a board, we lead by example. How we behave is how the society behaves. Our colleagues depend on us to create this great culture, this great behaviors, these great inclusive perspectives that allows them to come to work and be their best selves every day. And so that's something that we work on very, very consistently. One more from there, and then, as I say, could somebody ask in the room so then we don't end up with 4 in a row? Okay.
We have a question from a member on the subject of CEO pay. While CEO pay will be within market rates and recommended by the Remuneration Committee, the total reward package for the CEO feels excessive. Can the board comment on this?
Yes, I can comment on it. This society, as we mentioned, is we're the largest pure play mortgage and savings provider, the 3rd largest building society. We're growing, changing, and the dynamics in which we operate are increasingly complex and challenging. In that context, and given both our scale today and our growth for tomorrow planned, it's really important that you, our members, are served by the highest caliber of people that we can attract into the society's leadership and colleague base. And so when Susan joined, which is over 3 years ago now, as we would do in any position, we benchmark to look at, well, what is the right rate of pay. We look at and compare with the market, with our competitors. We set rates that are commensurate with the scale and the complexity and the nature of the challenge in front of us. And that, I think, is actually really serving your interests as members, because you want to have somebody who's leading the society, who's creating the culture, who's making the strategic choices that is going to hold this society in good stead, not just for today, but also for the future. There was a gentleman who was going to help me out. Yes.
In 1967, I started work as an indentured apprentice electrician. The technical tools that I had at my disposal: log tables, anti-log tables, and slide rules.
Wow.
Obviously, over the years, technology has done away with a lot of the need to know the basics. It's all done now on apps, computer programs, etc. As I've progressed through my engineering life, I had to indulge with the change to metric. We then went on to electronics and finish it up with computer and robotic controls. Quite a feat to take on board. Consequently, over the years, the new apprentices that have come on board, in my mind, have been devalued by consecutive governments. They've devalued the status of an apprenticeship. Now they're realising the error of their mistakes. We do need apprentices, but unfortunately, due to Tony Blair, everybody had to go to university. Complete and utter rubbish. The only way to learn is by hands-on use. I used my hands until I retired. The new apprentices that I've seen aren't trained to the same level that I was trained all those years ago. Granted, they can use computers. I installed them, never used them. Bane of my life. When the computers went wrong, the new engineers have to wait for a computer engineer to come. In my experience, I could overrule the computers and go back to the old electromechanical system.
Yeah.
My question is, does the Building Society have any affiliation towards engineering apprentice schemes relevant to building houses, etc.?
Well, I think I want to take a step back first. I completely, and I know that every member of the board would agree with me in terms of saying that making sure that we as a society fulfill our responsibilities in terms of hiring people and ensuring that they have the right skills and training and helping people who otherwise would not get jobs in the workforce. Susan talked about all the work that we're doing with money mines, etc., to be able to help people to find work and to build skills and talents that they need. We do actively support apprenticeship programs, but the apprenticeships are for financial services. So there are apprentices that are working in our businesses across the network. Susan, I might just add to you, because I can't off the top of my head remember the number of apprentices that we have and our approach.
Good question, because I'm not sure. Becky, about 160, am I going to say 160, give or take? Apprentices, but they're really around data and technology. So we're really trying to focus our apprenticeship programs on what we think are growth areas for the future, so giving people the opportunities. And sometimes it's people in other parts of our business that are in areas that maybe won't be so prominent in the future, but we're giving people the opportunity to reskill and to learn new skills for the future, because we do take that very seriously. But we don't directly support apprenticeships in the building trade. Now, what we are thinking about with our purpose is where can we support more broadly to help make more good homes possible. And so we will, over the next few years, explore other areas to try and, if you like, inject some more movement into the housing system. But I couldn't sit here today and say that apprenticeships would be part of that.
Oh, no more questions online. Any last questions in the room? No? Okay. Well, now that we've dealt with your questions covering a real range of different topics, we'll turn to the formal business of the meeting. The notice of meeting was included in your annual review booklet in your AGM pack, and hopefully you've got that. It was sent to all members eligible to attend, and I propose, if it's okay with you, to take that notice of meeting as read. I'll just wait to make sure that there's no dissent online for that. All okay? Yeah? Right. So I formally propose each of the resolutions as set out in the notice of meeting and which are shown on the screen, and we're going to now ask members to vote on those resolutions. I call a poll on each of those resolutions, including the election and re-election of directors, as is also shown on the screen. This will enable the votes of all voting members, including those voting by proxy, to be able to be included in the count by our independent scrutineers. All those people in the room who have been appointed a proxy by a member should have a white, yes, this one's the white one, a white voting proxy paper. And all those members who have not already voted by proxy and who are entitled to vote should have a blue paper. I apologise in advance, this is very light blue. I couldn't tell the difference between the two. But if you haven't got the right paper, just put your hand up and somebody will come and help you now. Members watching online should be able to see all the individual items of business to vote upon. And I'd now ask each of you in the room and those online to record your votes. For members voting in the room, please sign the voting paper, fold it and place it in the ballot boxes, the cardboard boxes on your tables. Our society colleagues will be collecting those boxes shortly. For those online, I'm just waiting for the collection to happen in the room. Is there anyone who's not completed or deposited their box, or anybody who needs assistance? Oh, there's a gentleman up front here. Let's just give a few more moments. No hurry. Just while I'm waiting for the final votes to be cast, I do want to take this opportunity on behalf of you, our members, to thank the colleagues at Yorkshire Building Society. There are 3,600 or so colleagues across the society, and they do really work tirelessly for you. They are here to offer a great service day in, day out, and they really care. They really care about each of you and about the society as a whole. And I'm conscious that in our formal speeches we didn't take the opportunity to thank them, but I want to do that out loud now so that the executive team can take that back to the colleagues on the coalface working as we speak. Now I think we've concluded. Have we concluded? Yeah, okay. That now concludes the voting, and I therefore declare the poll closed, and voting online will also now close. The scrutineers will count the votes that we've just recorded in the room and online and add them to the proxy votes that we received in advance of the meeting. And I do, of course, have the results that were cast by proxy before the meeting, including those which I, as chair, have cast as the proxy. And this will now be displayed on the screens. As you can see, based on all the voting results, I declare that all of the resolutions have been passed. Once the final results, including today's votes, have been verified by the scrutineers and updated, then that will be published on the Society's website, which should be tomorrow, and available in branches from Friday. Subject to that confirmation, this concludes the formal business of the meeting, and I declare the meeting closed. Thank you to all of the members who have attended today, both in person and online. We really value your interest in the Society's long-term success and the thoughtful questions that you've raised today. For those of you here in the room, and for those of you who were here last time, food will come to you, so you don't need to go and search for the food. I'm assured that there are scones, and I am very much looking forward to one of those, along with a cup of tea. And please feel free to chat. We'll do chat with our colleagues who are here to engage with you. When you're traveling home, I wish you safe journey, and to those joining online, I hope that we all have an enjoyable rest of our days. Thank you so much.